Coming up on Wave TV, Tessa Harvey brushes us up on some SHS history.
And Hannah Simmons gives us an insight on Somerville's cultural side. Good morning, Somerville. I'm Joel Bryant.
And I'm Courtney Morris. Today is Friday, February 24th, and Wave TV starts now.
Root fried confusion is making itself clear. Wonder which way to go to get on out of here. Cause I've been in the right place, but it must have been the wrong time. And I done said the right thing, but I must have used the wrong line. I took the right road, but I must have took a wrong train.
That intro was made possible by digital editing. Wave TV does not condone vandalism.
Somerville High School has been around for a long time and has a lot of history. Tessa Harvey takes us through the Green Ages.
In 1969, we got the building we all know today as Somerville High School.
Growing up in Somerville, it becomes a way of life. I mean, when little playing sports and playing football, all you thought about was Friday nights, and Friday nights it was a community event. Everybody went to Friday night football games, and it didn't matter from home or away, who we played, what the weather was like. You were going to the football game. And growing up, as an athlete, you just couldn't wait to wear the green and gold. And it's just such a great place to live and raise a family. And I just, that's always been a part of who I am. And I took that everywhere I went. So I knew once I graduated college that coming back to Somerville was definitely what I wanted to do.
Mr. Farrell states in an interview that we have great excellence, whether it's in academics, fine arts, or athletics. From 1987 till present day, lunches and grades have changed drastically in the Somerville High School environment.
Well, the biggest changes recently are the 10-point grading scale. You can have phones in class, an hour to eat lunch, and you can go wherever you want to go to eat lunch. And having one lunch is crazy. I thought that I would really like the 10-point grading scale, and I do for athletes and the NCAA, but I don't like it for students in general because I feel like students have lowered their standards to pass with a 60.
People come to the Low Country, and according to Mr. Troxel, they come here because we're the best, and he tells us why outsiders think Somerville High School is the #1 school.
Somebody comes to the Low Country, this is where they want to be, and it really doesn't have much to do with football. They want to be here because this is the best school. So, to answer anything beyond football, I don't know what the little spot is that people say that's the best, but they move here for that reason. So.
Somerville High School is always changing and making history. Let's continue to keep our Green Wave spirit. For Wave TV, I'm Tessa Harvey.
Thank you, Tessa.
And now Hannah Simmons shows us some old culture in Somerville.
Then Saeed Chambers tells us how you can help Tylen Vaughn, an SHS student with progressive multiple sclerosis.
Followed by Jelani Moore, who tells us about how to win prom tickets from Heritage Trust.
Let's face the facts. The town of Somerville is growing at an alarming rate. With huge communities like Nexton and more commercial opportunities popping up, it's difficult to get back to the town's historic roots. Located at 139 North Main Street, Simmons Barbershop continues to keep that old-fashioned charisma in a town full of growth.
My father in the 1940s came to Somerville and because he heard there was an old barber here wanting to retire. So he came in the 1940s and went in with him and bought him out in 1950, and it's been Simmons Barbershop since 1950.
Customers explain how the barbershop is unique.
Well, I'm kind of an old school type of guy. I like to look back on authentic, and the style of Simmons Barbershop kind of reminds me of that. You don't see a lot of that now.
Because I get a good haircut and it's good people, and it's always, everybody's happy in here, and it's a high quality haircut for a good price. I think it's just everybody's genuine and people are real, and you know what to expect, and the same people have been here for a long time, so you know what you're getting into.
Romy Simmons elaborates on how his shop's kept up with the times.
Oh, we got people here now. When I first started, population of Somerville was about 1,800 people. That's it. When I graduated from high school in 1957, we had 60 seniors in the high school class at Somerville High School. And we hadn't one of the high schools, that was it. No, we have not changed it, we kept updating it, like I put a telephone in, and I put TV in, and the air conditioning, we didn't have air conditioning, they put air conditioning in.
Haircuts are at $12 for men and $14 for women. Even though Somerville is expanding, Simmons Barbershop has stayed true to its original small-town feel. Reporting from Wave TV, I'm Hannah Simmons.
Tylen Vaughn is a former SHS football player who has been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, a disease in which the immune system eats away at the protective covering of the nerves. Treatments have proven to be very costly, which is why Russell Hagen decided to start a GoFundMe to help with the medical bills.
I mean, after he just disappeared, I was wondering what actually happened to him. I found out he had MS, and I was like, dang, that really sucks. But then I found out that it's progressive MS, which means it just constantly gets worse and worse.
There are no cures. There are treatments. As far as treatments are concerned, it depends on what type of MS you have. If you have the more progressive, which is an aggressive form of MS, then you have to do things that are similar to chemotherapy treatments, and they're more severe.
Sometimes the signs may not be very apparent.
Eyesight, and it might cause numbness. It can cause people to smell different things. It can cause people to be forgetful. So there's a variety of really effects depending on where it's at in the brain. They may have numbness in their legs, and you may not be able to see it, but they can still walk. They can have fatigue. They can have eyesight problems, and sometimes you don't see that, but that's something that somebody is going through on a daily basis.
So far, Russell has raised over $400, and he hopes to raise a total of $5,000.
That'll at least do something for him. The medical bills are pretty high, but like I said, that'll put a chip in it at least.
To donate, go to www.gofundme.com/shs-senior-with-aggressive-ms. For Wave TV, I'm Saya Chambers.
The Heritage Trust branch at SHS is awarding 2 free prom tickets to the winner. Rachel Ford tells us more.
To qualify for the drawing, you have to either refer a friend as a member, or if you are already a member, you are already qualified to enter to win. To get a membership at Heritage Trust, just come right to either our student branch, or you can stop by Miss Hazelton's room and you can pick up a membership application. You fill out your application and bring in 2 forms of identification, and somebody at the branch in front of the auditorium will fill out your membership, and you can create it there.
The raffle ends the last week of March. For Wave TV, I'm Jelani Moore.
Thank you guys. Moving into student news, a date to mark on your calendar is March 24th, Somerville's first annual Day of Caring. Clubs, classes, and teens will find a service project in which to participate on that day. And April 6th is Somerville's Powder Puff game. It will begin at 6:30 in Memorial Stadium.
Somerville High School is home to a girls and boys junior varsity and varsity soccer team. Although soccer is the most popular sport in the world, some could say it's overlooked here at SHS. We sat down with some soccer players to talk about them and their upcoming season. What is your favorite soccer team and why?
My favorite soccer team is probably the U.S. Nationals team for women, because they just have to work really hard to get where they are, and women's soccer is not quite as popular as the men's soccer.
FC Bayern, because they win every game, I guess.
Whenever we were at the championships and it was me and my friend Emma, we both got a yellow card at the same time in the same day, and that was my first one.
I said something to the ref, and he didn't like that very much.
Probably winning the Lexington tournament on my birthday.
My favorite soccer memory is probably the first year I started playing competitive soccer, which was when I was in like the 5th grade, and it was just interesting to see how bad I was compared to everyone else.
When did you start playing soccer?
I played soccer ever since I was 5.
I started playing soccer when I was 4. My favorite subject in school is definitely math.
Math.
And science.
Hopefully this convinced you to attend one of their games. Reporting for Wave TV, I'm Seth Butler.
Track is a spring sport where we just run around in ovals. And then others, we go around and we'll throw these really heavy metal balls, and then we'll throw frisbees around. And then there's distance, we go out and we go run out in the neighborhoods that are nearby. And the competitions, we just keep running around the track a lot. It's always good to have new people, because then you can pass on your knowledge you gain over the years of doing track. And then you also have people who look up to you, and it always feels good to be a role model. So I mean, track is good.
Good morning, Green Wave. I'm Joel Bryant, and this is your Wave TV Sports Report. Let's kick it off with some football. On Friday, the Green Wave boys took the field against the Goose Creek Gators. Goose Creek came into the game 0-3, and the Somerville Green Wave was determined to send them home 0-4. The Green Wave had control over both sides of the ball, their offense putting up 27 points, and their defense holding the Gators to 16. The varsity squad will be back at home again tonight as they take on Ashley Ridge. Come out, wear your black, and cheer on the Green Wave. Kickoff is at 7:30 at John McKissick Memorial Field. Next up, we serve up some volleyball. On Tuesday, our Green Wave girls took on Wando High School. The Green Wave put up a fight but couldn't pull out a win and lost 2-0. And that's all the sports I have for you today. For Wave TV, I'm Joel Bryant.
Thanks, Joel, for that chilling sports report. Now Eve Katz tells us about the growing popularity of comic book characters.
Comic books have been an important aspect of popular culture all the way back to the 1930s. Over the years, they've gained popularity and finally come to life right before their fans' very eyes in the forms of movies, TV series, and video games. Some fans started out with a love for comic books, which then evolved into a love for the new adaptations for comic book characters and different types of media.
My personal favorite is Batman. He's had a bunch of different movies, Dark Knight. He's had video games made about him, such as Arkham City, which is probably the closest you can get to like being Batman, which is awesome.
A different type of superhero fan did not start out with the comics, but still developed an appreciation for comic book characters.
My favorite superhero show is Arrow because it's kind of dark and it has a lot of action in it, and Oliver Queen's pretty cool.
Comic books are yet again becoming popular due to their exposure in film and video games.
I've definitely noticed that ever since the movies and the television shows have come out, people come in asking, about these characters that they've never heard of. Everybody knows Batman, everybody knows Superman, everybody knows Flash, but nobody knows Jessica Jones. Nobody knew who Luke Cage was, or, well, Daredevil was kind of more popular, but these characters basically that people had never really heard of before, now they're coming in and they're buying their comics. So we've definitely noticed that that is having an influence. As I think those really appeal to people because there's like 3 different versions. There's the good guy, there's the middle guy who's kind of like the anti-hero, and then there's the villains. And I think that anybody can find something that they like.
Comics have been a vital source of entertainment for decades, and their appeal doesn't seem to be fading anytime soon. For Wave TV, I'm Eve Katz.
Do you love sports? Does the idea of talking about sports nonstop sound awesome to you? Then you should take a look into joining sports history class.
It'll be interesting, it'll be fast-paced, but it'll also lay the framework for a lot of their other social studies courses, sociology, economics, government, and it'll give them a better grasp of what's going on in the world of sports and just in general.
To take sports history, talk to your counselor before classes are finalized.
Thanks, Kristen.
That's all we have for today.
Don't forget to tag your photos with #WaveTV to end up on the end of the show.
For Wave TV, I'm Joel Bryant.
And I'm Courtney Morris. Have a great weekend, Green Wave.
Martin had a dream. Martin had a dream. Kendrick have a dream.